Good day, grade 10 learners! Welcome to another week of Learning English. I am Ma'am Armina Sereno of Venteriales National High School. And you can call me Ma'am Angel. And I will be your virtual learning buddy for today. Our lesson this week is a continuation of your lesson about observing correct grammar in making definitions. Before we proceed, please make sure you have the following essential materials for your learning: your self-learning module, a pen, and a paper to take important notes as we go along with our discussion for today. Also, do not forget to comment down your full name together with the name of your school and the section you belong to. Our teacher moderators will be monitoring your attendance for this live stream. I would also like to remind everyone that your comments are being monitored, so please be on your best behavior. Now that important reminders are out of the way, let us proceed with our lesson for today. This week, we are going to discuss further the most essential learning competency, which is to observe correct grammar in making definitions. Specifically, we are going to differentiate the types of definition. We will be focusing on formal, informal, and extended definitions of words. In your self-learning module, you will have this lesson with the title, Correct Grammar in Making Definitions, written by Ma'am Mariatela D. Lim, a master teacher from Genti de Leon National High School. Have you experienced reading words from a paragraph and not being able to understand what it meant? Did it affect your comprehension or the way you understood the message of the paragraph? What did you do when this happened to you? I asked some of my students, and here's what they had to say.
Yes, some English words are difficult to understand. Sometimes I have to look for the meaning of some word on the internet, so I could fully get the message of the paragraph that I am reading.
Yes, I experienced this a lot of times because I am not that good at understanding English. Most of the time, I have to ask my teacher to translate the word or to explain to me the meaning so I could understand the paragraph.
I believe that I am a good English speaker, but sometimes I encounter some words that are unfamiliar to me and not easy to understand. What I do is to look at how it was used in the sentence and try to define it myself.
How about you? What do you do when you encounter words that are unfamiliar to you? Share your answer in the comment section below. We Filipinos are not native speakers of the English language. That's why, no matter how good we are in using it, we encounter words that are unfamiliar to us. When this happens to you, finding the definition of these words will surely be of great help. And that is what we are going to discuss today. As you accomplish your research paper, there are some terms in which you have to define so that your readers can fully grasp what you are trying to say. This is important because just like what you and the other students said in the video, when you encounter unfamiliar terms, you lose interest in what you are reading because you cannot fully understand what it means. Now, what does the word definition mean? It is a statement of the exact meaning of a word, especially in a dictionary. Are you familiar with the dictionary? Some of you may have a dictionary app on your gadget. Some may use an online dictionary to search for the meaning of words. And some may still have an actual dictionary at home. Either way, A dictionary is a tool that we use in order to find the definition of words. The words are arranged alphabetically, so it will be easy to find the one you are looking for. I have here some words that I would like you to define using any type of dictionary within your reach. It may be online, an app, or an actual dictionary. For each word, you will be given 10 seconds to find the definition and share them in the comment box below. Are you ready? Let's begin. First word, frontline. Time's up. Next word, quarantine. Time's up. The final word is vaccine. Great work, everyone! You were able to use one type of definition already, and that is the formal definition of words. These are definitions that come straight from the dictionary. A formal definition is based upon a concise, logical pattern that includes as much information as it can within a minimum amount of space. The primary reason to include definitions in your writing is to avoid misunderstanding with your reader. A formal definition consists of 3 parts: the term, the class, and the characteristics. The term is the word or phrase to be defined. The class is the concept in which the term belongs. And the characteristic distinguishes the term from all its classes. Let us observe the following examples. Frontline is the term. A military line is its class. Formed by the most advanced tactical combat units is its characteristic. Next example would be quarantine as your term. Its class is a restraint. Upon the activities or communication of persons or the transport of goods designed to prevent the spread of disease or pests is its characteristics. Last example would be the term vaccine. A preparation that is administered by injection is its class. And to stimulate the body's immune response against a specific infectious agent or disease is its characteristic. Giving the formal definition of words from your research paper helps the readers understand better the content of your research. Another type of definition is the informal definition of words. Unlike in the formal definition, where the word is defined through the use of a dictionary, informal definition is when the writer uses known words or examples to explain an unknown term. In order to further understand their difference, let us use the same examples from our discussion of formal definition. But this time, let's try to define them using the informal definition. Frontline means the most advanced, responsible, or visible position in the fight against COVID-19. The frontline consists of essential workers working together to win the battle against the pandemic. The medical workers, military, police officers, and local government units are considered as frontliners. Next example, quarantine is the state of isolation a COVID patient or a person who got exposed undergoes in order to prevent the spread of the virus. Last example would be vaccine. It is the preparation or immunotherapy that is used to stimulate the body's immune response against COVID-19. Informal definition of words may depend on the content of your research paper. In the example given, the theme is COVID-19. That is why the definition of words revolves around it. Take note that there are various ways in giving informal definition of words, like using illustrations, citing examples, making analogies, and giving stipulations. The final type of definition is the extended definition of words. Extended definitions generally have components of both informal and formal definitions. However, as the name suggests, the author uses a number of other techniques to define a word, concept, or phrase, including the following: listing and describing the parts, identifying smaller or more familiar pieces of an idea to point to the definition of the bigger concept. Etymology, sharing a word's origin. Anecdotes, telling a story or example that illustrates the term. The author could also use negation, defining a term by explaining what the concept is not. Or evoking the senses, using a word that creates a picture in the reader's mind so that the reader might relate through memory of sound, sight, touch, hearing, or smell. We also use environment or sector, pointing out how and where something is used. Also, you could use ramifications. It means showing how the term or concept affects people or subjects. And finally, you can use historical references, showing how a word has been defined throughout history. Take, for example, the term COVID-19. Let's define it using listing and describing its parts. Coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus or COVID, is a contagious disease caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. Let's define it using etymology. During the initial outbreak in Wuhan, China, the virus and disease were commonly referred to as coronavirus or Wuhan coronavirus, with the disease sometimes called Wuhan pneumonia. Tedros Adhanom explained CO for corona, V for virus, and D for disease, and the 19 for when the outbreak was first identified, which was December 31st, 2019. We could also use anecdote. Symptoms of COVID-19 are variable but often include fever, cough, headache, fatigue, breathing difficulties, and loss of smell and taste. Symptoms may begin 1 to 14 days after the exposure to the virus. At least a third of people who are infected do not develop noticeable symptoms. Through defining terms using extended definitions, the readers of your research may be able to understand your paper in a deeper context. They could also have something to associate your paper with, and this could help them comprehend the contents better. Now that we are familiar with the types of definition, the question is, when should you define a term? It is important to know when and why you should include definitions in your research. You give definition when Your research contains a term that may be key to audience understanding, and that term could be likely unfamiliar to them. Or a commonly used word or phrase has layers of subjectivity or evaluation in the way you choose to define it. Or when the etymology a common word might prove interesting or will help expand upon a point. At this point, I think you are ready to identify different types of definitions when you see them. Get ready to type your answer in the comment section below. All you have to do is to identify the type of definition used to define the word bullying, whether it is formal, informal, or extended. You will be given 5 seconds to key in your answer. Let's begin. Bullying is a verb that describes the act of forcing someone to do something he or she does not want to do. Typically, the bully uses physical power or influence to intimidate the person being bullied. Is it formal, informal, or extended? Ready for the next one? Here goes. Some time ago, bullying in schools only referred to the students who forced the smaller students to give up their lunch money or the ones who beat them up after school. In recent years, many schools have cracked down on bullying and have strict zero-tolerance policies. However, now harassment is often happening online. Real bullies hide behind social media technology, like Facebook, posting embarrassing pictures and videos of their classmates, and setting up fake relationships to lead on and shame others, an act known as catfishing. Is it formal, informal, or extended? Correct again. This is the extended definition of the word bullying. For the last one, I would like you to try giving the informal definition of the word bullying by defining it yourself. Focus on what you already know about the word, and if you could, you may cite examples to further define the term. I will give you 10 seconds to key in your answer in the comment section below. Wow! Awesome job! I think you are ready to define terms on your research paper. I believe we still have some time to answer a few questions. 60 seconds will be allotted for you to type in your questions about our topic for today. Our teacher moderators will be on standby to monitor your queries. Your 1 minute begins now. Question is from Wawangpulo National High School. How should I choose the terms to define in my research paper? Choose words that you yourself had a hard time to understand. Chances are, your readers may also be unfamiliar with those words. In research, some terms, no matter how easy they are to understand, may need some form of definition depending on how they are used in your research. Focus on making your paper easy to understand so that the readers will not lose interest and will definitely learn from it. Our next question is from Polo National High School. Can I include personal details on my definition, like sharing my own experience as an example? Avoid adding personal details to definitions. Although you may think that the story about yourself will perfectly fit the concept of your research, your readers may fail to relate and you may seem biased. Offering personal definitions may only increase the likeliness of misinterpretation that you are trying to avoid. Our last question for today is from Kanumay West National High School. How long should a definition be? In research, the definition of a term should be short and concise. It should be just long enough to include important information that will help the reader understand your research better. How I wish I could entertain all your questions. But sadly, we don't have enough time to cover them all. But don't worry, your teachers will help you in whatever queries you have about this topic in your follow-up discussion tomorrow. Make sure to be present and be prepared for your class. After you watch this video, do not forget to answer the activities in your module. Should you have questions about them, you may address them to your subject teacher. Thank you for being with me today on this learning journey. Again, I am Ma'am Armina Sereno, reminding you to be safe, stay healthy, and stay indoors. Goodbye, class.